welcome back to the Logic Motorsport workshop. My name's Jamie, and basically today we're doing a video on our new in-house little project slash demo car. We've only done it again. We've bought ourselves another Fiesta ST, so this will be our third or fourth one that we've bought in absolutely stock. Obviously it's sporting the ST Baby plate that Logic Motorsport always put on the car. We're going to take the car from average to savage. Now what that basically means in Logic Motorsport language is we're going to take the car from stock to its absolute full potential. That means the car's going to go stage 1, stage 1 plus, stage 2, stage 2 plus, stage 3, and then stage 3 plus. Now I'm also going to take the opportunity to explain to you why we do these stages at Logic Motorsport, what each stage involves, and basically why it's relevant to the consumer or you guys at home for when you want to come and have something done to your car. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I do love to have a little Fiesta in my life. We've done a little modification already. We've put some very, very old school, genuine Ford Escort Cosworth wheels on it, wrapped in some AD08R tyres. So any testing that we do is going to be done with maximum grip, maximum performance in terms of putting the power to the dyno or power to the road, or however it is we decide to do some certain testing. So yeah, without further delay, let's get on with the video. Let's talk about the parts that are going onto the car. I'll talk you through all of those, and then we'll do some cinematics on putting the car together, and then a bit of an announcement later on. And yeah, we're going to end up with a lovely 350 brake Fiesta ST for you guys to come down and enjoy. So if you want to ask any questions about what we can do with Fiestas or how it is we do it and blah blah blah, you can come down, drive this car, or be taken out for a drive in this car, and you can see exactly for yourselves what Logic Motorsport are capable of when it comes to these particular cars. We do a lot of them before you spend any money. Proof's in the pudding, as we like to say, and like I said, it's all about going average to savage. So enjoy the video, guys. Okay guys, so as you can see, we've got an absolutely bone stock Fiesta ST. It's got stock intake, it's got stock primary hose, it's got stock crossover, and it's got absolutely no modifications on this car so far whatsoever. Basically, that's a stock car. To take the car to stage 1, or what we call stage 1, bear in mind different tuning studios call different stages different things. We do it this way to simplify it for ourselves and for the customers as well. So stage 1, as you can see on the table here, there is no hardware whatsoever needed. It's just stage 1, it's just a remap onto the car, and basically you're just calibrating the ECU to work with the car's potential as it comes out of the factory. So nice and simple. Stage 1 is just a remap. Okay, so when talking about stage 1 plus, we are talking about adding an intake to the car. So you've got your software for stage 1. Stage 1 plus at Logic Motorsport is the addition of a software and also an intake. So you can get the most out of the potential from the car as it is from factory, just with the addition of an intake. This applies, our staging processes apply to all platforms, so Golf Rs, S3s, RS3s, Mercedes, BMW, absolutely everything we do, all our staging in exactly the same way. It might not be the same as other garages, but we find it an extremely simple way of delivering these packages to the consumer. So, back to the Fiesta. So this particular one's made up of the stock intake box, primary hose, and the crossover. It's quite a long-winded way of getting cool air into the turbo. It needs to come through the front grille, through this channel here, into a great big airbox with a massive big chunky filter in it, then send the air up through the pipework into the turbo. Times have moved on since this car came out from factory, and basically testing and development would say that the Itg Induction Kit is the best way to get cold air as fast as possible to the turbo. Now it's made up slightly different. From the factory box, we actually get rid of this completely. We put an extension bar or an extension tube in. We mount the actual filter behind the bumper, so it's obviously in the car's coldest place. And then we just put additional pipework in right the way up to the turbo. So the Itg Induction Kit's made up of the filter itself. You've got the extension silicone hose that sends from here to behind the bumper. You've then got Itg MAF housing, which obviously is the housing for the MAF sensor to make sure that the car's measuring the right amount of airflow going into the turbo. The primary hose then, we've opted for a Forge one. We're going to keep it all nice and black because we're going for a black and red colour scheme with the car. So Forge primary hose. Forge are a really good brand, we supply all their stuff as well. And then for the crossover at the back, so from the top of the primary hose down to the turbo, we've opted for another black component. This time it looks like it's unbranded, but it's actually made by Ram Air. So we're going for 3 of the market leading induction kit people, all as one big system. We're going ITG, we're going Forge, we're going Ram Air. That for me says we're going to get absolute optimum intake to the turbo, enabling us to do as much as we can with the car, with the tuning and everything else that goes with it. So yeah, that's stage 1 plus at Logic Motorsport, guys. Okay, so when we're talking about stage 2, we need to add a little bit more hardware. So obviously with stage 1 plus, we've got plenty of air, or as much air as possible in fact, going into the engine. We can now mix that with as much fuel as possible. So now obviously we need to look at getting rid of those waste gases. So obviously on every factory car, you've got a catalytic converter or a CAT in the downpipe, and that acts as like a bit of a sponge, and it's a restriction for exhaust gases flowing away from the engine. So with the addition of a decat downpipe or a sports cat, you can effectively get rid of more exhaust, meaning you can make more power and obviously increase performance when you do so. So this is the Logic Motorsport decat downpipe. It was made by our friends over at Scorpion Exhausts. So it's Logic branded, but it's made by Scorpion. We're going to use this one on this particular project car. We know it's a very, very well made piece of kit, tried and tested, obviously very well branded. And that's obviously going to allow us to get rid of all those waste gases in an efficient manner. Therefore, performance should be optimum. Okay, so when talking about stage 2 plus, we're now talking about the addition of an intercooler. Many customers come to us, they don't have an intercooler upgrade. Golf R customers, Fiesta ST customers, BMW customers, customers from across the board when it comes to performance cars. They have the decat or the sports cat in place, that's why we offer them a stage 2. It's sort of like a soft version of the full hardcore stage 2 tuning that we do with the SVG software at Logic Motorsport. Stage 2 plus done properly from ourselves is the addition of the intercooler. Now in this case with the Fiesta ST, you've got 2 different options. You've got the stage 2 intercooler, which is taller by 50% than the factory one, and it's also about 50% deeper as well. It's good for about 300 horsepower, so anything up to stage 2, where you're pushing the turbo to its absolute limits, this little bad boy is more than capable of dealing with anything there, and also small hybrid turbos as well. We know already that this car is going to go stage 3 plus. We'll discuss stage 3 plus in a minute, but we're also going to use this particular intercooler. So if you've noticed, it's twice the height. Down the bottom, the core thickness is roughly the same, but it also comes with the addition of this extra piece just to make the boost and the pressure going through it cooler, quicker. There are also options for a stage 3, which is very common in the Fiesta market, especially comes up to about here. We've got them in stock on the shelf over there, made by AirTech, Pro Alloy, Wagner, various other brands. We don't feel the need for it because we know that running up to about 340, 350 brake, stage 2 plus cooler is more than capable of it. Also keeping the boost system as small as possible makes for not creating as much lag. So obviously stage 2 plus, it's good for up to I reckon 380 brake, which is more than what we're going to be going to anyway. Get my bloody words out. And yeah, basically what this means is the smaller intercooler does its job. It keeps the boost system itself nice and small, tight and compact, thus keeping lag to a minimum. So yeah, stage 2 plus, add yourself an intercooler, keep the car nice and cool. We can push the stock turbo to its absolute limits. Let's talk about stage 3. Okay, so when you do stage 2 plus, you've taken the car to its absolute potential from the factory. So you've got as much air going into the engine as possible, you've got waste gases being exposed of properly, you've got the engine being kept to optimum temperatures with the intercooler. You've pretty much done all you can do with the car. To go further than that now, you need to change the heart of the car, which is the turbo. So taking the factory turbo off and replacing it with a hybrid or an uprated turbo is the next option. So for the ST 180 or the ST200, any Mark 7 Fiesta, we've got a couple of options. We've got the S280 turbo, or we've also got our very own hybrid turbo coming as well, which is the SVG 350. As per the name, it'll do about 350 brake, or it's capable of about 350 brake. Whether you want to run it that high and that hard is entirely up to yourself. The cars are obviously good for it. The fueling system's good for it, there or thereabouts. Stage 3 Plus, we'll talk about injectors in a moment, but yeah, we've got a couple of options for you guys with Fiesta STs, and this is probably a good opportunity for me to speak about the Mqb Turbo, or the replacement IS38 Turbo that we're bringing to market as well. So the SVG 550, again, as it says on the tin, is probably good for about 550 brake. Whether you want to run it to its full potential or not is entirely up to you. We'd recommend a strong and steady 530, 540 will be absolutely plenty. Yeah, turn them cars from average to savage. So last but not least, we're talking about Stage 3 Plus, and especially on this little 1.6 Eco Boost, you want to just try and get that little bit more out of your turbo, the maximum you can possibly get out of the engine. We're talking about injectors, so the Bosch 30% bigger injectors are the go-to items. We're going to put these onto the car as well and push the car to its full potential. So as we've covered in the video, this is the Logic Motorsport or Savage software way of doing our staging tuning. There's no right way of doing it, there's no wrong way of doing it, this is just our way of doing it. The great way to look at this, or the great thing about it, is you can bring your car to us with any particular hardware setup. Whether you're missing one of the key components or whether you're looking to go to the next stage or next level, we've got a tuning package or a tuning solution for you, your car and your budget as well. So yeah, when thinking tuning, guys, think SVG software, think Logic, think logically. Let's make some cars go fast, you know?